No.
No, I did go back and check just because I was talking to my brother about something and I was like, oh, like, we can go back and listen to it, and it wasn't there.
Right.
I just got a heads up that this is being live streamed right now, so I think we're good to go. My computer
Very
just sent
nice.
me a message.
We
Oh,
good to go?
excellent.
Okay, perfect. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on this Wednesday, June 23rd at 6:31 for a regular council meeting. I'd like to start the meeting, call the meeting to order with the adoption of the agenda. May I have a mover, please?
Everhart has moved with an amendment. The amendment would go under staff reports, and that'd be including the two firms for management recruitment.
Thank you very much. May I have a seconder, please? Get these on, get that added to the agenda, get the agenda approved for discussion. Thank you. I've got it with Councillor Hudson. Any further comment or question? Any objections? I'm hearing none. It's carried. Thank you all. Any disclosure of interest tonight?
None,
I see
sir.
none noted. Thank you. Moving on. Approval of minutes, pages 3 through to 6. We have the June 9th, 2021 regular council meeting. What are council's wishes?
I move to accept them.
Thank you very much. Do I have a seconder in that?
Councillor Smith.
Thank you very much, Councillor Smith. Any questions, concerns arising? Any objections? Carried. Thank you very much, Council. We don't have a deputation tonight or a variance report, but we do have the schedule of accounts 12-2021, pages 7 through to 13 for the amount of, this one, bear with me, I'm just gonna get page 7. There it is. $234,258.75. What are council's wishes?
I would make a motion to approve if I'm correct, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Councillor Park. May I have a seconder, please, for that motion?
Everhart.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. Any questions or comments with respect to the report? I'm hearing none. Thank you. Report is carried. Moving into staff reports, we have 8.1, which is the report on the Municipal Core Services and Organizational Review and Municipal Strategic Plan RFP, number 14.
Point of order, sir.
Yeah.
We amended the agenda to put the other thing
so
first.
it was
Yes.
so it was intended to be 8.1 and not 8.7.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you very much.
Perfect.
Then we'll definitely go back to that. Okay, so everyone, as everyone is aware, I had mentioned that we were going to be, I was working with a couple firms to try to present to council an opportunity for recruitment services to help fill our town manager's position. So we've got two presentations in front of us. I've had the opportunity to speak with both companies to get this presentation on the table. I briefly explained to them, I didn't briefly, actually, in detail, explain to them more about our community, some of the needs, what we've had, where we've come, where we might be heading. And this is the presentation that these two companies have chosen to present to us. One of the companies have a rapport with the municipality through previous work that they've done with us. The other one has yet. So with that being said, may I have a motion, please, to get these on the table? Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. May I have a seconder, please? Thank you. So everyone knows the reason why I wanted to pursue this route and give council the opportunity to look at this is as Councillor Clark and Deputy Mayor Everhart knows, we've gone through this process before, and it's a lot of work. And it's a very important process. The vetting of the candidates, the getting the proper candidates. A lot of times when we say we're looking for a municipal clerk, we get clerks of all different kind applying. So it wouldn't be odd to get 100, 150 resumes for something like this. So this agency will help surf the Canadian database and look for opportunities to present to council. They'll help vet the applicants. They'll help with the interviewing process. And they will help with all the other aspects to go with that. First off, Deputy Mayor, would you have any comments with respects to the documentations that have been presented, or any questions for me?
Thank you, sir. First of all, I am very glad to see that this process is being discussed tonight. In fact, this is the process that I think is probably the best for the community. We will be tapping resources that we normally wouldn't tap and have expertise that we normally wouldn't have for this very pivotal position. I know Mayor and Councillor Clark were on council the last time we engaged with Palmer and Associates for some employment support. I found the staff there incredibly professional and supportive. And looking at both of those firms, I feel very comfortable with the recommendations and the references both provided. I would probably lean towards Palmer though, because we have a pre-existing relationship if all things are equal between the two. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Anyone else have any comments? I did speak to Palmer. They would be very excited to work with us. Both companies would be very excited, but Palmer really felt dialed into our municipality as well. So has everyone had a chance to look through the proposals? They understand what's being said. What would be the next step is if council, and I would ask that council make a decision one way or the other. We have to get this process going. I think this is a good process, good step forward. I think with the competition that's out there right now, other municipalities looking for this job, Desmeraldo needs a little bit of assistance. Councilor Hudson?
No, I just wanted to throw in there that I seconded, and in my notes I put Palmer as well as the one that I would have picked between the proposals we were given.
Thank you very much. Does everyone feel comfortable with what we see in these proposals? Any questions with respect to any of the documentation? If not, I can take a motion from council. Deputy?
I will move. I think Councillor Hudson said she would second that we retain Palmer and Associates to facilitate the hiring of management for the town of Desmeraldo.
Thank you. Councilor Hudson, is that a second from you?
Well, out of the two proposals, that's who I would pick if everybody else is on board as well.
Okay, let's get it on the table that we have a motion on the table that we do want to pursue this route. I'll take you as a second. I won't call all in favor
Sure.
yet. I'll give everyone the opportunity to have a say. If anyone chooses to say anything more with respects to this. Any comments? Next step would be staff would then engage with Palmer and Associates. They would then either do a delegation to council. But they will let us know. They pretty much outlined the way they're going to work. Yeah, Councilor Hudson?
Yeah, my only comment was, do we think the process is going to take about a year? I know in the documentation, it kind of said that the whole process was going to take a year. Is that what we're kind of projecting? I was thinking because we're such a small scale municipality that maybe it wouldn't take as long. But that was my only question with regards to everything that was in there.
Speaking with both companies, we're pretty confident that we should be able to put somebody in a seat by middle quarter four. And that would put us exactly on track to where we want to be, where we need to be going into 2022.
Okay.
With that being said, I'm fairly confident based on what they're saying. Can things take a little longer? Absolutely. Is it going to take a year? Absolutely not.
Always municipal government always does that kind of process. We have to take our time and make sure that we're making the right decisions. Absolutely. I just was curious if that was what we were planning or if that was just kind of like end game, like, you know,
it was more of a disclaimer, I think, from her part, just saying, listen, these processes can take up to a year that they've seen in the past. But I had a really good conversation with her, and like I said, with the other company as well. And there's no indications that it's going to run that long. I'm pretty confident we'll get somebody in 2021 as per what we want. And I think that's a big reason why we're going to go this route, not only for the professional expertise and the vetting and all the other jazz that goes with it. It's to make sure that we stay on our deadline and our commitments to the staff in this community. Any other further comments? If not, I'm calling all in favor. Or sorry, any objection? I'm hearing none. Carried. Thank you very much, Council. I'm very excited to get this going. I think it's a step in the right direction. Gail, you and I can touch base tomorrow with respects to reaching out to Palmer and Associates and figuring out next steps.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Moving on to 8.1, we have the report on the Municipal Core Services and Organizational Review and Municipal Strategic Plan RFP, page 14. Motion from council? I'll take a discuss or a motion.
Mayor?
Yes?
Because we have three names before us that have all been judged to be equal.
Yeah.
Should we have a discussion?
Sure. Yeah, I'll put it on table for discussion purposes. Absolutely. If someone wants to make that motion.
Certainly then.
Perfect. I'll take it. Now, do I have a seconder? Just for discussion. Councilor Clark, can I take you for a second?
Yeah, oh, sorry, yeah, yes.
Okay,
you're right.
thank you very much. Okay, so it's on the table for discussion. Everyone sees what's being proposed here. So, Deputy Mayor, would you like
Thank you.
to, would you like to start the
Uh,
conversation?
Thank you, sir. I was very pleased to see that these names are there. They're all reputable firms. The one thing that did distinguish the firms out of the other was one firm actually reached out to us after, indicating that they were still very much interested. That firm was Strexler Harlop, and I would suggest that their reach out to us indicates an eagerness to work with us, and they were certainly watching our last operations meeting. So with all things considered equal, I would move that we adopt Strexler Harlop for this particular role.
Thank you very much. Any other comment from anybody on council? Councillor Clark, do you have any comment?
No, I would agree with the deputy, Your Honor.
I would concur too. There was a bunch of proposals come in. Everyone was pretty much neck and neck. And as you saw, the operations committee did discuss it at our first meeting. We decided to remove a couple of them just to make sure that we, that we had the right median. When looking at these, we had asked staff to take a look at it, and these are the 3 remaining. And I have to agree with the deputy as well that would be my choice as well. Anybody else have any comments? Okay. Deputy, may I take your comments and turn that into a motion then, where we recommend we'll make that a motion?
Absolutely. I move that we hire Strexler Harlop to complete the 2 reviews.
Thank you. May I have a seconder for that motion?
I would second that, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Councillor Clark. Any further discussion? Any objection? I'm hearing none. Carried. Council, we're doing some good work tonight. There's a lot happening. We're moving the agenda forward, so I'm very happy to see this. We're getting some closure to some open ends. Okay, moving on to 8.2, legal firms, pages 15 through to 19. We have a CAO report, and we have a couple recommendations. I personally have my own personal recommendation, but I will throw this out to council for discussion. May I have a motion, please, to get on the table? Deputy? I'll take it. May I have a seconder, please, to put on the table to further discuss the report? Thank you very much, Councillor Hudson. Okay, so pages 15 through to 19, you'll see that both legal firms have strengths. So they're parallel strengths, but they're also, they show strong in individual areas too. So I really liked what I saw from the options available. Deputy?
I would agree. Both firms definitely show tremendous capability to do what we need to do in our legal realm. They have really well-developed municipal departments, it seems, and I think this will be enhancement to the services that we are used to receiving. We could go with either firm, and everything could be done in-house. And I like the recommendation. It does take economics into consideration. However, sometimes because I think Temple Menenga's reach in Hastings County and the member municipalities, there might be a position where they cannot represent us because they're pre-representing another client that we might already have going something with. So, there's that issue as well. So I'd like to tweak the recommendation that we retain Temple Menenga for all our legal, unless there is a conflict or a special circumstance, and we need to reach out to Cunningham.
So we're gonna approve both of them, with Temple Menenga being our primary legal firm, with a secondary for if there's an overflow or if we get into situations where we require the further assistance. That way they don't have to come back.
Exactly.
I would honestly, that's great. I agree 100%. Do I have a seconder for this?
I would second that, Your Honor, and I wonder if I could make a comment.
Absolutely.
As I say, I know Templeman. I've dealt with him for a long time, and I second that. I don't know the Kingston outfit so well, but my question, and it's been bothering me ever since our present firm advised us that they wouldn't be serving us anymore, and I'm wondering, are they really saying that they're too busy not to handle us, or is there another reason why they're not handling us? And I say that because the firm that we're with right now, been with them for about 18 years.
Yes.
And I just can't believe that they're dropping us like that all of a sudden. And I should have brought it up before, Your Honor, but I've been thinking about it for the last week and a half. And in my own mind, I'm not satisfied with the reason that was given in the letter of why they're giving us up. And I'm just wondering, I don't know if Gail can check into it at all, or yourself or that, but I'm just wondering if there's another reason why they're giving us up.
Thank you very much, sir. It's definitely food for thought. There's been nothing indicated through anything that I've heard at this point in time, but it's bizarre that someone would drop a client, especially a long-term client. As you said, I've sat at that table many a times with most of the people on council, and we have extensive history with them. But to the deputy's point as well, I do believe that this will be a service enhancement. I think once we lost Cynthia Law, who was our primary contact at that firm, I think our relationship did start deteriorating a little bit. So maybe it is they're just too busy. But if I guess if council would like, we could ask them straight up. Is there any other reason?
Mayor?
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's better just to cut and run in a way.
Sure.
They've given us their professional reasons. It's unfortunate. We've been loyal even when we've questioned some of the things that have the time lengths to get things done. I think let's turn over the new page and start with this firm and leave in a way that's just, I'm excited to be working with Templeman and having
Sure.
the option to working with Cunningham. So I think it's a step up for the community. So let's just go from there.
Thank you. Any further comment from anybody else? Councilor Clark, are you satisfied?
I get no problem. Don't get me wrong. I got no problem with Templeman. I've known them for years and years. I just find it strange that the company that we've been with for 18 years, and as the deputy says, probably it may be better just to cut loose and go to someone else. But in my own mind, I really believe that there's another reason.
Very well. Yes. So with that being said, I do have a motion. I do have a seconder. We've had some conversation. We made a recommendation. Any objections to the recommendation? Hearing none, it's carried. Thank you. This is really good too. So there's 3 right in a row. Oh, another one, 4. Town hall reopening, pages 20 through to 21. Excellent conversation. Just going to pull that up here. So speaking with the acting clerk over the last few weeks, we've been receiving some calls asking for some clarity on our reopening. We've talked about it at the last meeting, and here's a subsequent recommendation that by the town halls. So I think it's a fairly fair recommendation based on all the guidelines that are out there. I can take a motion to accept, or I can take a motion to discuss.
I would put forward a motion to discuss.
Okay, I'll take it. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so it's on the table for discussion purposes. Councillor Hudson, do you have anything you'd like to comment to start the conversation off with?
Well, we could go right down to the recommendations if you want. The one that I wanted to talk about was the fitness center reopening.
Yeah.
I personally think that it's such an asset to our community, and I think we're doing a disservice by not, having it open as soon as we can and having somebody on full time. So I'm just hoping in discussion that maybe I'm missing something. Do we have, employment opportunities out there and that kind of thing. And so our community members kind of know what the timeline is for that. I think that was the biggest one on my mind.
Perfect. Okay, so I agree. I'm a big supporter of the fitness center, but unfortunately, we are in a restructuring phase right now in our municipality. We're down staff in many different areas of our community. The fitness center has always been a value-added service and not a primary service to this community. Although I've used it, I've enjoyed it. It takes 160 labor hours to make $200 a month. That's the bottom line issue. When we have staff at the arena, we have being able to staff it or being able to man that facility is not an issue. And our upcoming renovations are going to address this through remote access. So if anybody, if council wants to pay the $160 man hours a month for the service, it's a discussion we can definitely have. It does hurt me as well that there is a financial aspect here that needs to be considered. Does anyone have any thoughts on that aspect specifically? Deputy?
I think the report does point out the limitations at this time. And this would be a temporary not reopening. It's not permanently closing it. I would anticipate by September, when ice is hopefully back in the arena, the fitness center would be working at full capacity. Historical hindsight comes into play here. We've had situations in the past where summer hours at the arena have created problems with the fitness center in previous council sessions. I'm thinking 2015 and 16. We're going to be undertaking the arena renovations very soon. I think the ultimate thing is it's coming back. People do still have options. There are private facilities that will be opening to greater capacity under phase 2. It's the time to be outside and exercising as well. I think there is opportunities, and many residents have made provisions for health and wellness during the shutdowns. It is expensive to operate, and with the small number of people using it at this point, I don't think it warrants the cost at this point. But when, as you said, September rolls around and the facility is staffed again, we will resume fitness center operation, I think. So I'm in support of the recommendation of the report.
Thank you. Councillor Hudson, you had a further comment?
As much as I respect the deputy mayor, I think that it's a waste of an asset in our community to wait to have it open until September, and to make it a priority to have it utilized in a way. I think there should be more conversation on how we can be providing this asset to the community and how we can be utilizing it in a reopening stage. I just think it would be a waste to let it stay off until September. I totally hear the points that are valid, but I'm a big supporter of why let it sit there when we have it.
Okay, let's have that conversation. What's your solution? What do you propose? What are you proposing that's going to be able to move this conversation forward? Because I'm with you. I hear exactly what you're saying, and if we can find a workaround solution that benefits the whole of the municipality, and it makes sense, I'll have this conversation.
Well, do we not have cameras, a sign-in system? There are people who are utilizing the gym. I mean, it's a small kind of income for us, but it's also just access to the community. There's the open Wi-Fi there, et cetera, et cetera. I'm willing to other solutions. I'm just like, how can we brainstorm on how can we have our community center open to people and utilize it in a way that's safe during the restructuring?
Okay, yeah, that's absolutely fine, and it's definitely valid.
I think we've had it. Oh, sorry, Tin. I think we've had it open where people can come in and out. We can watch who's coming in and out. I personally have been there and gone into the gym. You know, when there's no staff person there, it's open to the community. I get with COVID-19 that there are certain restrictions there as well. I think there are protocols that we can put in place during the reopening, and having some sort of part-time staff at least to have the community center accessible, I think is just important.
Thank you. Anybody else have any comments here? Obviously, we don't want to keep this thing down. We don't want to keep this thing down as long, longer than we have to. but we need staff. We're going to need staff by middle of August in order to prepare for the hockey season anyways. Well, what I really think we need to do then is I really think we're expediting the hiring of a town manager. We need to get somebody into the community center facility as well. We have staffing constraints, and I think I think any solution we come up with, an implementation of that solution is going to take a couple of weeks anyways, because we don't have staff to man it. And
So our part-time staff is gone as well?
we have nobody. There's nobody there. There's nobody at the arena right now. The previous CAO was supposed to be backfilling those with contract help, but that has not occurred. We have a person that cuts the grass, but the person's been off for a few weeks ill. We're restructuring. Deputy?
If it maybe adds to the conversation, if we are looking to have person X in the job by the 16th of August, so that's 2 weeks before September starts, we're only looking post phase one of 5.5, 6 weeks max of not having the community center open. And I hate to be the bearer of possibility here, but we know who knows what's going on with COVID-19 in 6 weeks. So my gut says let's follow the staff recommendation with the idea that we will be getting that up and running when we have staff available, because what we could have this discussion to get it going 3 or 4 weeks early, and then all of a sudden we have COVID shut us down again. And I think right now with all the constraints going on in the municipality, I think the recommendation, although not ideal, it's the most workable solution.
Anybody else have any comment with respects to the fitness center specifically? Understanding the fact that we are rectifying the situation long-term. We're not putting a Band-Aid on it. We're fixing it by giving remote access with the renovations when they do occur. Anybody else have any comment? Let me be out of respect to you, Councillor Hudson. I'm going to break up the recommendation so you have your opportunity to say yay or nay on each specific part, because you seem very passionate about trying to forward that portion of the recommendation. So I'm going to instead of taking them all as one, I will take them individually so you have an opportunity. I'm going to take a motion. Do I have a motion that Town Hall will reopen on Monday, July 5th? I got it with the deputy. Do I have a seconder from anybody?
Councillor Smith,
Thank you very much, Councillor Smith. Any objection? Hearing none? Carried. Okay. Garbage bags will be required on all bags effective July 16th, which gives everybody 1 week after the town full reopens. Everyone cool with that? Yeah, can I have a mover?
Councillor Smith,
Thank you very much, Councillor Smith. And Councillor Smith, and that will also add that further penalties will not be charged on unpaid accounts until September as per the recommendation. Is that fine?
yes.
Thank you. And you seconding it, Councillor Hudson? Thank you. So I have a mover and seconder. Any objection? Hearing none? Carried. Thank you. And lastly, that the fitness center will not reopen until to the public until we have the ice or hire a staff member. Okay, I got a mover. Do I have a seconder?
Councillor Smith,
Thank you very much, Councillor Smith. Do I have any objections? I've got one objection. Thank you very much. Carried. Thank you. Moving on. It'll be 8.5, page 22, the report from the acting clerk on proposed town hall renovations. This is another open project that we had going on as well that we need to have addressed. And this, I requested this get on the table for discussion and just for an update on where we're at. So page 22, there is a recommendation in there. Can I have a motion to get it on the table for discussion? I've got it with the deputy. Do I have a seconder? I have a seconder with Councillor Hudson. Okay, so everyone understands what's happening on that aspect. We've discussed this in detail. So what's happening right now is there is a push from the people giving us the money that we got to use it. So there is a recommendation from staff that council waive the current policy and permit the engineering of the town hall renovation applicable application to complete the project if the town is successful in its application. That is the recommendation of the report. Yes, Deputy.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I had a conversation with the acting clerk last Friday on this.
Mhm.
Although I'm usually a stickler for policy and procedure, due to the time constraints, if we are successful, the expectation is we implement immediately. This is
Yes.
shovel ready 2.0, and currently with our current structure, Mr. Brunton is the only one that we have. Sorry, not Mr. Brunton. Wrong, Chris. Current person.
Yes, yeah, current engineer that helped put the RFP together. Yeah.
Is the only person who knows what's in that RFP on staff right now. Is the only one that would be able to say that RFP is valid and the cost is valid. We can't put it out to an RFP. He's already costed it out. In our mind, because we brought this project back 3 times to the council table, I think council has thoroughly vetted what it wanted for that $100,000 and got what it wanted for, what was it, 83,000, if I can get correction on that, Gail, if I'm wrong. I think this is the easiest way to solve the problem of the COVID-19 grant. And it is reasonable under the circumstances where the funding partners want the money spent immediately once it's received.
Any further comment from anybody on council with respects to what's being proposed? So I'll take that as a motion, Deputy. If I can get a seconder for the motion to accept the firm that we're currently working with.
Counselor Smith,
Thank you very much, Councillor Smith. Any further discussion? I'm hearing none. Carried. Gail, to you, I know we're looking at trying to get an update on where we're at with the revised funding for the community center. Can we have an update, please, for the next council meeting on those efforts?
Certainly.
Thank you very much. Also, can you dust off the contractors that the previous CIO said that we could use for interim staffing measures with respects to the community center, so we can view those again?
Certainly.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to 8.6, which is 23 pages 23 through to 26, a report from the community emergency management coordinator. There is some action requests in there. Council's wishes. It was a good report.
I think there's just the receiving of the report, Mayor.
Or was there not an implementation of a committee? Just one sec. Or I think a different piece of correspondence.
I think
I
that's in
need to
correspondence.
fill the alternate CEMC position as well as the emergency information officer. Oh, that's him personally. Yeah, it must be another report. I'm sorry. Council, you have recommendations? Council?
They mention it in the report. I understand what you're talking about.
Thank you.
The only recommendation they have is to receive it.
Fair enough. So I'll take that as a recommendation.
I will second that if I can have a comment on there.
Yeah.
The Conservation Authority and their low water response team does talk to other departments as well. This is sort of an annual thing right now. Water has been low, I think, 4 of the last 6 years. This will also have hit our management team at the water treatment plant. We probably don't need to see this in an emergency management plan unless it's a high water risk, simply the way our bay draws. But there is some allocations. There is recommendations based on a level 1 advisory. And I just want to share this with the public. Conservation does request that people start to conserve their water as best they can, reducing by 10% consumption over normal. And that will go up with each level. The projection right now is we're going to be hitting a level 2 very shortly. And we'll start seeing some major impacts, probably level 3, and they'll be more recreational than anything when our boat launch is harder to use.
Thank you. Any other comments from anybody? Hearing none. I'll take the motion. Carried to receive.
hey, enough.
Actually, there's Yeah, I'm gonna move on. I'll bring this up at another meeting. Okay, 8.7, 27 through to 30, Building Inspection Services Board Report, council's wishes.
Move to receive.
Thank you.
Everhardis.
May I have a second, please?
I'd second that.
Thank you very much, Councillor Clark. Any comments from anybody? Hearing none? Carried. Okay, I want to circle back for a second. I'm sorry, and I should have said this at the time. I'm probably out of order, but well, it is what it is. Going back to 8.4, the update on reopening of town services. We have to get a media address going. Our front sign's not working currently, so that's not an avenue. We need to get something on Facebook. And I really think that I don't know about you guys, but I constantly get questions about bag tags, when are we opening, when do we have to start putting bags on or tags on our bags. I wouldn't mind a little, would anybody be opposed to a mailer do we have a water bill coming out anytime soon between now and then? Or for those who don't get water bills, what about a mailer?
We could do a mass mailing, or we could put it in the water bill, so it should be coming out within the week.
I think a mass mail out would probably hit everyone's, because there are people in our community that would have services all included, like our renter communities that wouldn't know. So possibly a mail out might be a little bit more inclusive of our community. Debbie?
Just on that note too, because we'll get a lot of questions the next 2 days about Canada Day. If it would be possible to address council's planning an event in the future when
Yes.
regulations permit, I think hopefully that might be something to keep people feeling that we're thinking about them, and that expectation of a really good day on July 1st. The fireworks will be backdated into another holiday long weekend.
I think that's very appropriate, because that falls right in line with our opening plan we've allocated the resources, we've put in the purchase requests. So yeah, I think we should definitely let the community know that we have festivities in reserves. Okay, so Gail, can we work together on an address,
Yes,
on getting something together? July 5 is when we're gonna open. I'm just gonna check my calendar for a sec. To give everybody fair notice, I'd like to get something out early next week. Perfect. We'll work together and we'll get a release out. Perfect. Thanks, council. Appreciate you taking the time. Okay, moving on to 9.1, pages 31 through to 38. Quinte Conservation, April 22 minutes. Council's wishes.
I move that we accept.
Thank you. May I have a second, please?
Counselor Smith,
Thank you very much, Councilor Smith. Any comments, concerns, questions? Any objection? Carried. Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, Your Honor, what was that? Was that the waste management you were?
No, we're on the Quinte Conservation minutes.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
But to your point, I am now on 10.1 action item waste management. And this was the one that requires our input on whether or not we want to start a board. So I knew there was something in there that I had read that said that. So there is an action item. So pages 39 through to 42, we have to either express interest or not. Council's wishes?
Mayor? Oh,
Yeah.
I'll defer to Councillor Clark. He had his
Yeah.
hand up first.
No,
Councilor Clark.
go ahead, Deputy.
Looking at this and looking at the communication that's required, I believe that Tyndall Township and Greater Napanee are the biggest stakeholders here, but they also name MBQ and the Conservation Authority as stakeholders as well. To be a good community neighbor, if the other jurisdictions want to continue with this, I think maybe we put feelers out whether or not they're willing to do it. If they are, I think we should be there to support our neighbors, because this is something that does have an environmental consequence for our watershed, and it does impact our greater region. And I would not want to be one of the reasons why it doesn't go forward if the other real stakeholders have interest.
Okay, well, sorry, Councilor Clark. Do you have any comments?
Yes, Your Honor, it was in reference, basically what the deputy was saying, 10.2. I'm really disappointed because when the committee was originally formed, Deseronto was a strong partner. Whether all members agreed with it or disagreed with it, Deseronto was included and was a strong partner. And I see the author of this letter has decided to invite everybody except the town of Deseronto. And I think it's important if there is something going on that Deseronto should be represented. And as the deputy says, be with our neighbours, and we can either agree or disagree. But I think this is an important issue that Deseronto needs to be involved in. And I'm a little bit disgusted that the author of this letter has not included the town of Deseronto, but he's included most of the other communities that were opposed. And Deseronto, for a while, led the meetings. And in fact, we were the chair of the meeting, and we had strong meetings. And we invited these other communities to meetings to get their representation. And not once did any of them show up, yet they got an invitation to join this committee again, and we're left out. And I'm just sick and tired of Deseronto being left out of things that we should be involved in.
Thank you very much, sir.
Mayor, am
Are we reading it wrong?
am I looking at the Waste Management Landfill Public Liaison Committee document?
Yeah.
We're mentioned in the, Councillor Clark, we're mentioned in the third paragraph, second sentence down.
This email is being sent to the town of Greater Napanee, town of Deseronto, township of Tynega, Mohawks Bay of Quinte, Quinte Conservation, CCCTE, and the ministry requesting that they appoint an elected or appointed representative to the PLC committee, and whether or not we wish to continue. So with that being said,
Is this the same letter we're talking about?
yes.
Okay.
So with that being said, I agree. Councillor Clark had a very passionate plea that that we were on the forefront of this, and we see to have a fair amount of interest at the table. I would like to take a motion from council that we indicate positively that we wish that the PLC be reestablished, and that we would it sounds like from what I'm hearing at the table that we do have interest in representation. So I would take that motion.
I would give you that motion.
Thank you very much, Councillor Clark.
I'll second that. Mayor, I got a quick question though.
Sure thing.
Do we still have, because this is before my time on council and you and Councillor Clark would be the veterans here, did Deseronto ever take an official stance on the Richmond landfill when the proposed expansion 10 or 15 years ago was going along there? I know it's closed in the last 6 or 7 or 8 years, but do we have a policy or a statement on what the town supports? Because in my mind's eye right now, the town would probably most likely be supporting the status quo, that the landfill site remain the way it is, monitored and closed without a major expansion. Would that be sort of what we'd be looking for in our representation to say?
I don't recall specifically the stance that the municipality took back in the day, Deputy. Councillor Clark, do you recall?
I don't believe there was any policy made in support or otherwise. It was just we were involved in the meetings and with the other communities, and we invited the other communities to meet publicly, and they would never meet with us.
Well, I think if we're going this route, we maybe needed a future meeting to have some clarification. Maybe our first couple of meetings as a PLC will clarify what the Richmond landfill folks and waste management folks see. And then maybe we can guide our representation with some sort of official policy to make it a little more, give Deseronto a little more gravitas at that meeting.
I really think that is the best approach to go. We have to show an expression of interest. Other communities have to show the same expression of an interest. If it gets legs and it starts to go, then we can have a further conversation. I think what we're saying is, as a community, we're willing to have a conversation with you.
Good. Then my second stands, and I'm in support.
Thank you. Any other comments from anybody? Carried. 10.2, page 43. I think it's a pretty much simple, straight up request. Council's wishes.
Mayor?
Yeah.
I think we give the correspondent the information that we would give any correspondent that, in our public parks, people are able to do wellness and fitness classes without necessarily giving official blessing or sanctions. We just ask that public measures for safety according to the provincial standards are followed for COVID-19. This seems like a very straightforward thing. And it might be helpful to correspond with this individual to let them know that we currently have a grant to do just what she's requested with the fixing of the tennis courts and making that a more of an attractive feature in the community. And I'm really glad to see, actually, for many years, I've been kind of the champion of those tennis courts. Get the 2 nets up, don't make it a parking lot. Come on, people play tennis. So I'm glad someone in the community is echoing that important infrastructure there by wanting to fix them up and patch them up. And on that note, let's maybe get those nets up. It is time, and you can play tennis in Ontario right now.
Yeah. So I agree. There's no exclusive use being requested here. We have it's public property. It's public. It's a public park. I have to agree. Council have any other comments? Other than, I guess the motion, Deputy, is to just to reach out and let them know that, hey, listen, this is a public park. Be safe, be smart.
Yeah, absolutely.
And let them know.
My only other comment is I'm thrown in there personally. Yes,
are.
Molly and I go back in the day. We both were hired by Norm and his council as camp counselors. So just I will be in contact with her personally. We ran into each other running. I was doing Girl Guides one night and she was running in the community. So I have made that personal connection. So that covers, I guess, line item 1. I'll reach out to her personally. And other than that, I agree with all the sentiments put forward. I think as a community member, she should have all the information on how she can use the park as a community member and just go for it.
Perfect. Got a mover? Got an enthusiastic second? Carry.
Yes.
Oh. Sorry, Councillor Clark. What's that? You have a comment, sir?
No, I thought you were asking for a second.
Oh, no. I think Councillor Hudson threw a strong second on that.
Oh.
Thank you very much. I'm so excited about the renovations that's going on in the arena. I can't wait to get that information out in further detail. I know we've teased the community a little bit with it, but it's going to be so nice to be able to finalize those details and get to market with this plan. We have so many irons in the fire right now. We should be, I know it's frustrating not to be able to pull the shoot on everyone, but.
And Mayor, if I can second that, I think people
Sure.
would really like to know what's going on behind the scenes. Like you're saying, I think people don't really realize how much, like you said, irons are in the fire and what's really going on and how that affects the community.
Well, let's talk about that point. Recently, we did do a budgetary newsletter that did highlight those type of things.
It looked great, by the way.
So it was just a high level, just kind of hit a few points, this, that, and the other thing. I just want to let everybody know, if we can pull everything off within this council term, I want to have a Deserano Day. We're going to have a streets department. We're going to have a Centennial Park. Or sorry, not Centennial Park. We're going to have the community center. We'll have a new town manager. I really think that a touchy-feely day where Deserano can come out and touch the fire trucks, see our new backhoe that we're getting, the streets department come on over and maybe have a dog at the new community center. I really think that like a Deserano Expo where we really just be proud of what we've got.
And if I may comment, do you mind?
Oh no, go ahead.
With the Recreation and Culture Committee, and I know with COVID, it's put a damper on all that stuff. But it is really, Deserano Day was one of the things that we had talked about, and how do we make that in our community? And so just know I'm on board with that thought. And I hope that once COVID is kind of more under control and our committees are a little more established, like we've been working on, and all of those things that we've been talking about are going to come to fruition.
In 2013, I presented a Deseronto Day to our recreation coordinator of the day. It really didn't grab me legs, but it has like booths where someone can come up and ask a town bylaw question. Maybe get a pen, get a magnet, go home, and feel really connected to Deseronto services. To that point, it'd be an excellent discussion for our community committee, and I will forward you that document. I actually just dusted it off a couple of weeks ago, so you can take a look at where my headspace was. Okay, moving on to letter from Quinte Conservation, ERO comments, pages 44 through to 49. Council's wishes. Deputy.
I move that we get it on the discussion paper. There's a lot to go through here.
Yes. I have it on the table for discussion. It looks like I have a nod for a seconder from Councillor Hudson. Okay, it's on the table.
So Mayor, if I can, as the representative from the Conservation Authority Board, give the high overview of what's going on here. So the provincial government has made several changes to the way conservation areas act and authorities act. There's been some change to regulation, and there are proposed more changes. Currently, there is a consultation period when we're talking about the Environmental Registry of Ontario and the Conservation Authority, in conjunction with Conservation Ontario, the umbrella organization that represents all the conservation authorities in the province, has identified some concerns and has identified some positive things that could come out of this consultation. And all our member municipalities have been asked to support in a letter and attach this these deals along with that letter to encourage the provincial government to move in a direction which continues to support the vital work conservation authorities do to protect source water and the appropriate development in very interesting places. Also, there's some governance issues that are problematic. Community advisory boards are almost a duplication of what our executive board does anyway. We all represent the community. We are all elected officials except for 3 from Prince Edward County who were appointed, 3 elected, 3 appointed. There seems to be a lot of duplication under the guise of cutting some red tape here. So Conservation Ontario has, and Quinte Conservation have streamlined concerns. And most of these concerns talk to the core mandates of the Conservation Authority and what it's supposed to do under the acts and the government policy. So this isn't straying too far from what we do and what we need to continue to do to ensure that every Ontarian has safe, clean water and controlled water hazards on our rivers and lakes.
Perfect. Anybody else have comment? Anyone have questions? Anyone have a motion?
Everhardis does. I move that the town of Deseronto endorse the letter received from Quinte Conservation and participate in the consultation period by positively expressing our support for the concerns of the Conservation Authority.
Thank you. I have that as a first. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Hudson. Thank you very much, Councillor Hudson. Any further questions, comments, concerns? I'm hearing none. Carried. Everyone, I am going to have to tap out, and I'm going to give the chair over to the deputy mayor. I have a dolled up 13-year-old who just graduated, and I want to catch the tail end of her virtual graduation. Congratulations to all of our graduates out there. I wish you the best. It's been a wild ride for the last 16 months. I hope so. If you're graduating from high school or going into high school, best of luck to you. If you're leaving high school for a further journey in life, best of luck to you. So thank you very much, council. Thank you very much, staff. I'm going to be signing off, and I'll be putting the chair over to the deputy. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Congratulations to your graduate, Mayor.
Thank you. She's pretty excited, and she's cute.
Have a great time.
Thanks.
Bye, Dan.
Bye-bye.
All right, folks, that brings us to item 11, information items from the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, MMAH, entering step 1 information. Could I have a motion to receive?
Councillor Smith?
Thank you, Councillor Smith. I have a seconder from Councillor Hudson. No opposition. It's received. 13, notices of motion. Is there any notices of motion? I would like to give notice of motion that I will be bringing a notice of motion through the agenda process for the next meeting to address some of the calls to action made by the Truth and Reconciliation and the federal government's response. 14, announcements. Who would like to begin the announcements today? Councillor Hudson.
Well, since we were going off the tail end of our mayor having his graduate celebrating tonight, just sending along all of the congratulations to the Deserano graduates from Deserano Public School, as well as our sister schools in Belleville, St. Teresa's, Moira, etc. I hope that all of our graduates have a great summer, and congratulations for all of their accomplishments, considering it is graduation season. So just sending all of that along, and all the best.
Thank you, Councillor Hudson. Yes, those graduates this year have done tremendous work, even just to get through the school year, let alone their
What a crazy year with
academic
the
career.
pandemic. Absolutely.
Councillor Clark, do you have any announcements for tonight?
No, just the same as Councillor Hudson, to congratulate to our students on their graduation, and to let you know that I've had both my shots, but I think it's affected my brain because did we pass the finance bill tonight?
Yes. Our schedule of accounts did pass.
Yeah, okay, that's, as I say, I think my mind is leaving me sometimes.
Well, I think right now, staring at a computer screen during Zoom and Google Meets, you're excused, Councillor Clark. It's been, I'm tired of these meetings too.
That's all I have to say, and just wish everybody well and keep safe.
Thank you, Councillor Clark. Councillor Smith, any announcements?
I'd just like to chime in with everybody else and congratulate all our graduation students this year.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. And not to break the record, I do too commend our students for getting through this last year and a half. Those who graduated have certainly proven beyond academics that they have grit and the ability to get through adversity. And that says something about your character. So all our graduates this year in 2021 certainly have shown that they have the stuff to be successful in the future. Item 15 is bylaws. We have one bylaw tonight. It's bylaw 4721, site plan agreement with an official site plan and appendixes attached. May I have that bylaw read a first, second, and third time?
Councillor Hudson.
Thank you, Councillor Hudson. And could I have a seconder for those readings?
I'd second that, Your Honor.
Thank you, Councillor Clark. Is there any questions, discussions as we're going through with this? This has been a long and lengthy process. There's a lot of work. Staff have assured me that lawyer has drafted this. All our concerns from previous meetings, including site-specific development plans, have been built into the plan, including the painted walkway, pathway, and the additional road width, and all of these specific requirements for water and sewer and landscaping have been built in as well. Any other questions, comments? All in favor? The bylaw passes. Thank you. We have no closed session items. We do have a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council. Councillor Hudson, could you do the honors, please, tonight?
Bylaw to confirm the proceedings of regular council meeting held on the 23rd day of June, 2021, to be read a first, second, and third time.
Thank you, Councillor Hudson. Could I have a seconder, please?
Councillor Smith.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. All in favor? No opposition? It's carried. Before we adjourn tonight, just a point of order for the clerk. We do tend to have a reduced schedule in July and August. Could the clerk let us know, and Councillor Hudson's dog has just joined us in the background. That's great.
She's been here the whole time.
Yeah, he's
Don't let
just showing,
her
he's showing
distract
her
you.
showing off right now. And I think I've heard Councillor Smith's dog too in the background. It's great to see the pets out there. When is our next meeting, Gail?
The second Wednesday in July, I believe it's the 14th.
Great. So the second Wednesday, and then we have a break and just one in August as well. So I'll see everyone on the second Wednesday of July. Could I have a motion to adjourn, please?
Councillor
so-
Smith?
Thank you, Councillor Clark. Thank you, Councillor Hudson. We are now adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for the meeting tonight. That went really quickly. Lots of good work done.
Have a great night, everyone.
Yep, take care, everybody.
You too.
Good night.
Good night.